Hour of Death. BD number 2348. May 27, 1942, the soul's separation from the body is usually a painful experience for the body because a certain degree of maturity is necessary for a painless separation, which is rarely achieved by the person. The human being's hour of death will always make him aware that he no longer will be able to strive, that he no longer will be able to achieve anything by himself when he has left the human shell. And depending on the state of his soul, the hour of death will then become more or less difficult for him. As long as the human being is on earth, he still has the choice to purify himself, and the soul in the beyond will thank its Creator for having been given this opportunity before its departure, that it will not have to suffer as much in the beyond. Since God is righteous, the soul has to accept its fate in the beyond and needs far greater suffering to attain the degree of maturity. Nevertheless, it is not possible to enter the spheres of light without it. Consequently, this higher degree of maturity has to be achieved through suffering and pain, and thus a long struggle before death should always be viewed as an ascent. It is true that people only see the state of suffering, which contributes towards their fear of death, since the hour of death seems unbearable to them, and yet it is only bestowed upon the human being by the greatest love to provide for him a brighter light in the beyond. And this love is the foundation of everything. God only sends suffering and pain to earth for the purpose of removing a person's physical desires, that he then will pay more attention to his soul and attempt to perfect it. Every suffering which results in this is blessed by God. Time on earth passes quickly, and with good will can be used to abandon everything worldly. Then the soul shapes itself in accordance to God's will, and at the end of its earthly life requires no further exceptional suffering to enter the kingdom of light. However, suffering always contributes towards higher maturity and is therefore a blessing for the human being who otherwise would have to dispose of his errors and failings in the beyond, which would also be rather wretched. Thus his suffering cannot be prevented, even though the hour of death apparently proceeds silently and without pain. God knows every human being's state of soul and his willingness to fight all impurities, hence he complies with the human being by offering him the opportunity to accomplish his goal. By allowing the hour of death to be his last opportunity for arriving in eternity purged and purified. Amen.